Chag Sameach and Shabbat Shalom. We are in the intermediary days of the holiday of Pesach, of Passover. Passover is the annual reliving of the Exodus from Egypt. Chazal, the holy rabbis, called these days Zman Cherusenu, the time of our freedom, where the first days of the holiday go on the Exodus from Egypt. The last days of the holiday have two different aspects. First, the seventh day of Pesach is the day of the splitting of the Red Sea and the destruction of all of our enemies, the end of the final redemption, no more fear of the Egyptians re-enslaving us. The eighth day of Pesach, which we have overseas, goes on the final redemption, the very final redemption, the gathering of all of the redemption energy to bring us to the final redemption with Mashiach Tzidkenu, the time when no matter where a person is holding, they will be ecstatic, they will be at their highest heights. All of the world will make sense and all of our lives will be transformed into something positive. The very interesting custom that was started by the Baal Shem Tov 250 years ago, 300 years ago, the custom of what's called the Seuda of Mashiach, the meal of Mashiach, to make it the very end of the holiday, a meal just like the Seder, 3 matzahs, 4 cups of wine, where we celebrate the anticipation of the coming of the Messiah. It's very interesting. You have a certain dichotomy. The Seder, which was the celebration of the leaving of Egypt, is at the beginning of the day. It's in the evening of the 15th. The celebration of the Mashiach Seuda, is at the end of the day, the end of the 21st day of the month of Nisan. Why is that? If the final Seuda is like the final meal is like the first meal, and the first meal is at the beginning of the day, why is the last meal at the end of the day? And the answer that the Rebbe gives is, I think, is mind-blowing. He says the first Seuda was about the beginning of a new period. The Jewish people, instead of being slaves to Pharaoh, they became, servants of God. They became connected to God. It was the beginning of a completely new life for all of us. The beginning of the Jewish people as a nation. Everything that we know about ourselves began at the Exodus from Egypt. But Mashiach Seuda is at the end of the day, because Mashiach hasn't come yet. We are celebrating his soon arrival. We're celebrating the end of the exile. The end of the exile, where each person's effort is going to hasten Mashiach's coming. Each person's effort is going to bring them a clearer, a more powerful time of the Mashiach. Each Jewish person is going to participate in the bringing of the Mashiach. We're celebrating the end of a period, not the beginning. Okay, so everybody make sure at the end of this Shabbat, if you're in Israel, or at the end, Sunday afternoon, you're together with friends, you have your matzah, you have your wine, you sit around, sing songs, talk about Mashiach coming, and that itself will bring and quicken the final redemption. Shabbat Shalom.